Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone. Could I get your attention, please? I'd like to welcome everyone to the June 3rd Board of Supervisors meeting, the evening meeting, and officially call this meeting to order. Our first order of business is normally the Citizens Forum, but before we do that tonight, I have an announcement that I'd like to make. This morning, the Board of Supervisors accepted the resignation of Sheila Weimer, our county attorney. We wish her well in all of her future endeavors. As the board moves forward, looking for a replacement for our county attorney, we have agreed with Mr. John Bennett, who is going to serve as our interim attorney during the transition period. John has a fairly long pedigree with the county as an attorney. He has served as county attorney in the past. He has served as Commonwealth attorney, and I believe this will be his fourth stint as interim county attorney. John, maybe five? John, we appreciate your help in getting us through this transition, and we look forward to working with you.
Chairman, I look forward to working with the board and being of assistance in any way I can.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on now to our Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is an opportunity for anyone here tonight to come forward and speak for 3 minutes on any topic that is not on the agenda. The conduct of the forum is as follows. All meetings and work sessions shall be conducted by all participants with observance of the fundamental rules of civility, including restraint in demeanor and respect for others and their views. Shouting, profanity, threats, personal attacks, and other similar actions are unacceptable. Should the chairman determine that a participant is likely to or has violated the foregoing conduct, the chairman may take appropriate action. So with that, I will open the Citizens Forum. Is there anyone that would like to come forward and speak? Come on up. Please state your name and magisterial district.
Hi, everybody. It's Truth. I was here last time. I don't know what district you're talking about, though, what you say, when you say district. So, but I live in the geographical area of Culpeper, and I just been having some things on my mind since we moved out here in 2006. We bought a home, and I've been really kind of sad since we moved out here because we bought a house in 2006, and then we lost it in 2011. It's been very sad because it wasn't something we was expecting. And I've been very, very sad because of that, because we packed up everything and I moved my babies out here. And then when we moved out of our house, we didn't have anywhere to go, and they had young boys, and they had to go live with neighbors and things like that. And we had to go somewhere because we didn't know anyone who was going to take all of us. And it was very sad. And right now, this very day, I still don't know how our home was taken from us. And we built it from the ground up. It was nothing but woods there. We put $125,000 down. And it's just been very, very sad because I still have not fully recovered from that, because it was our home and our family home. And sometimes when our young ones are going through things and they ask to come home and they can't because we don't have a family home. And that was very important to have that. And that's every man or woman's dream, to have a family home that your offsprings can come back to whenever they're going through anything. They have a place to go. And that was taken from us out here in Culpeper. And it's been heavily on my heart. And I just felt like I wanted to share that. I don't know what. I go past that house every day because I look at that house. And the things that we built that from scratch with everything that we loved and desired in there. And the ceiling, the chandelier is still right there. And I go look at that chandelier and I say, that chandelier is waiting for us to come home, because that is our home. And I know they took it from us. I don't know everything there is to know, but I know one thing. We don't have a family home. My sons and my daughters don't have a family home to come to when they're going through things and they need to come. And a couple of times they've asked, Mom, can I come home and because of where we live, it's like there's nowhere. We have four bedrooms in that house and a big basement. I think it was almost 4,000 square feet, 2 master bedrooms, and 4 bathrooms, and 2 living rooms. It was a family house. Now, I can't have cookouts where I live because it's a very small place, and that's not why we moved out here. We bought a home. I would really love to have my home back, and I know a lot of people may think that that's never been done before, but I do believe that there's a first time for everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come and speak? Anyone else? Okay, we will close the citizens forum. Our next item of business, the board will present a special resolution. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Yes, we have an agenda before us. Are there any additions or deletions? Hearing none, we'll move forward. Our next item of business, the Board of Supervisors will present a resolution to honor Deputy Nathaniel Jasper for 55 years of service and dedication to the community. And Deputy Jasper, if you meet me at the podium, Mr. McLaren is going to read this into the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution in recognition and profound appreciation of distinguished service by Deputy Nathaniel Jasper. Whereas Nathaniel Jasper has served with extraordinary dedication, sacrifice, and commitment to the citizens of Culpeper County for over 55 years in law enforcement. And whereas Jasper has been and continues to be a cherished resident of Culpeper County, as he is deeply rooted in the community and its values. He began his journey in Culpeper County on January 30th, 1949, when he was born and later graduated from George Washington Carver Regional High School in 1968. And whereas upon graduation, Jasper enlisted in the United States Army, where he served during the Vietnam War. After leaving the military, Jasper continued his education at Virginia State University before finally returning to his hometown of Culpeper, where he began his career in law enforcement with the town of Culpeper Police Department in October of 1970. Jasper rose through the ranks at the police department to become Assistant Chief of Police. And whereas in 2003, Jasper continued his career in law enforcement by joining the Culpeper County Sheriff's Office, where he continues to serve today as a school resource officer at CTEC, inspiring future generations with his wisdom, experience, compassion, and most importantly, a few magic tricks. Jasper's jovial and captivating personality really shined through with his famous Halloween Haunted Woods, where he provided the citizens of Culpeper County with thrills, screams, and laughs for several years. And whereas throughout his 55 years in distinguished public service, Deputy Jasper has received numerous awards and accolades, including Culpeper Colonel Award, L.B. Henretti Award from the Chamber of Commerce, Amazing Citizen Award from the Culpeper Police Department, Optimist Club Award for Outstanding Officer of the Year, VFW Award for Outstanding Service, and the National Exchange Club Policeman of the Year Award. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Culpeper County Board of Supervisors acknowledge and extends this deepest gratitude to Nathaniel Jasper for his distinguished service to the citizens of Culpeper County and his lasting contribution to the community. And be it further resolved that the Culpeper County Board of Supervisors wish, through this resolution, to recognize Jasper for all that he has accomplished in his 55 years of dedication and commitment to Culpeper County. Be it so resolved this third day of June 2025.
Congratulations, and thank you very much. This is a well-deserved. Deputy Jasper, would you like to say a few things? The microphone is yours if you would like.
That's all right. Thank everybody for coming. I really appreciate this. I'm beyond words. I'm sorry. But thank you all.
And he said he's gonna do it 55 more years.
55. Thank you very much again. Congratulations, and thank you for your service to the community. Now, we're going to take a couple-minute break here because I believe there's a whole lot of people that were just here to see this, and if you'd like to stay, we'd love to have you, but if you'd like to make an exit, this would be a good time. So we'll take a couple-minute break. Okay, we're going to call the meeting back to order. Our next item of business, the board will conduct a public hearing to receive comments on a proposed adjustment to the water and sewer area in the town environs. And Mr. Howard, would you please come forward and give us some background on this?
Mr. Chairman, can you let me get that clicker? Mr. Chairman, the county received a request from K. Hovnanian Homes to add some parcels on the map that are shown in red into the county's water and sewer service area in the town environs. The area that's shown in blue is currently within the environs, and then the area that's shown in green is an area that staff would recommend to include so we don't create a hole in the middle of the donut there in the service areas if we add the areas that are shown in red. The area that's shown in red is zoned for development and is in the service area for the water and sewer master plan and is contiguous to the existing service area around the town. The areas that are included in the water and sewer service area are eligible to connect to water and sewer service, and it comes with a couple of conditions. The primary one is if you're within the water and sewer service area, you cannot put in a well and septic system if you're within 300 feet of an existing water or sewer main. We have a mandatory connection policy for that. And the second one is that if you are in the service area, then you are responsible for the water and sewer extensions to reach the existing lines that would serve you. We have these areas designated around the town. They were initially set up by staff to follow a combination of zoning and the comp plan and the water and sewer service areas that support that. So this is a request that we have before us from K. Hovnanian Homes. And it's recommended for approval by staff. The second one, if you could pull up the second map. Is over on Brandy Road. Again, the area here shown in blue is in the service area, and the area that's shown in red hash marks is in the current service area and was initially set up for a road that was planned in the comp plan that would go over and connect to Burgundine Drive. That road is no longer in the comp plan, so the staff's recommendation was to try to adjust this service area while we're in the process of adjusting service areas around the town to go ahead and clean this up to either match, and our recommendation was to match the existing heavy industrial zoning, which is the line that you see there. We typically either follow zoning lines or parcel lines. This one would follow zoning lines. You certainly have the option of leaving the service areas as is or expanding them to follow parcel lines or zoning lines. So those are the options before you right now.
Are there any questions?
Discussion, I will be recusing myself. K. Hovnanian is the applicant, but I have an ownership interest in the property. They are the contract owner.
Thank you.
I do have one question. So the master plan, does it include the areas beyond what we're planning on removing?
The water and sewer master plan or
Yes.
the comp plan?
The water and sewer master plan? Because you said KHOV is currently within the master plan.
And I believe this area is also within the master plan. The area that's, the property owner, I need to mention as well, the property owner right here, this parcel right here, when we notified all the participants, this parcel 126, they have requested to have the service area expanded to include the entire parcel. That is shown in the comp plan as a mixed-use development in the future, but right now it is zoned heavy industrial to this point, and the balance of it, I believe, is RA. But they have requested to include the entire parcel instead of removing a portion of the parcel.
Okay. But the water and sewer master plan would support either?
Yes.
Okay.
Other questions, comments? Mr. Bates?
I would just say on the discussion portion of it, when we talk about following property lot lines, it would make more sense that you wouldn't have a piece of property unless it was, well, even if it was mixed zoning on a piece of property. To expand any uses would require a rezoning. Is that?
That's correct. Typically, the water and sewer service areas are expanded at the time of rezoning, or if there's zoned property and they have demonstrated a viable way of connecting it, they can come forward and ask. That's the example of the K. Hovnanian piece. It's already zoned R1, and they have demonstrated and submitted a site plan to connect it to town and demonstrated how they would serve it.
What are the downsides of either following the property lines or leaving it as presented? And
The only conditions, as I mentioned, were if you're in the service area, you would have to connect if you're within 300 feet of a line. I did talk to the real estate assessor. If the property is zoned for commercial or R2 type development or any kind of residential development, the tax assessment on the vacant property will be higher if you're within the service area than without it. Those are the only two negatives that I can think of. As far as the county establishing the service area, the developer is responsible for extending the lines, but the zoning has to support the development. RA property would not be served with water and sewer.
And also, I know, it was brought to my attention, if you look at the urban services boundary, it follows that line specifically. It doesn't go any further north than the line that we're taking some away from. So anything north of that red hashed area is not currently in the urban services boundary in the comp plan.
Correct.
Okay.
But that parcel is shown as mixed use in the comp plan, that right there, yep.
Is water and sewer available in the inlet area where we're looking right now?
There is water along Brandy Road right here. There's a water main down there, and it serves this parcel here and several of the parcels along Inlet Road. There is sewer over here in the town. That would be the closest for this parcel, but that's the extent of it in that area.
Other questions or further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I guess I have a comment or a question.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's mixed use and there's future potential to enhance that property with a rezoning, and it is in accordance with the comprehensive plan, then we as a board, are we going to go forward and stay in tune with the comprehensive plan, or are we going to go back and modify the comprehensive plan, which we just did I guess, less than 2 years ago, right? Or has it been 2 years? 2 years ago. So with that being said, I don't see why we couldn't add that if it's in accordance with the comprehensive plan, if we're going to go forward and abide by the comprehensive plan, even though the property needs to be rezoned.
Well, to add to that comment, I think actually our comprehensive plan is in conflict with itself to the fact that it's looked at as mixed use on the future use plan, but it's not within the urban services boundary. So I think there is something that needs to be adjusted in the comprehensive plan to make sure it's not contradicting itself. I would also feel more comfortable understanding what exactly is going to go there to add it to the urban services boundary and the water and sewer area before just opening the door for any type of development, because that currently is RA. I mean, you could have 3 and 10 acre lots throughout there, or you could possibly come through with a rezoning for any which way, and I would feel more comfortable knowing what's going there when we add it to the services boundary than leaving it open for something that we may not be intending to go in that area.
Other comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We will open the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to come forward and speak on this matter? Come on up, please tell us your
Ladies and
name.
gentlemen, good evening. Chairman Durr, Vice Chairman Deal, distinguished supervisors. My name is David Brown. I am here on behalf of Culpeper Stone, as well as Werder and Janice Willis, the property owners of tax map 41126. I am here on behalf of Mr. Rex Edwards, who may or may not be on an exotic isle in the Greek islands at the moment. So if this goes well, this is all Rex is doing. If this goes not so well, it's all on me. So it's a pleasure to be before you, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak and address an important matter today. Our clients are very respectful and honor that each of you, it is very clear, have read the request submitted by Mr. Edwards back on the 2nd of May regarding the property. It is also not lost on us that many of you accepted some phone calls from us yesterday and perhaps other modes of communications. And there was a very, I think, a lively discussion at this morning's board session regarding the request to expand the service area to the entirety of the parcel. We've heard those comments that we received yesterday as well as earlier this morning. And as a recently retired U.S. Marine, I am a fond component or a fond believer of a bottom line up front. So our bottom line is twofold. The first issue for this evening's session is the decision to either remove or sustain the service area in that hatched designation there within the parcel. Our request of the board is to vote to not remove the service area outlined in that hatched section from the parcel. With regards to the second matter, if it is relevant for this proceeding, with regards to the expansion of the service area throughout the entirety of the parcel, we would ask the board to table or defer that decision, consistent with the comments that we've received, as well as some additional work that we believe that we owe to the board to appropriately address that expansion request. I think it's worth noting that our request is not calculated or tied to any specific development timeline. Our request, Mr. Edwards' request, was submitted in response to the county's unexpected notice that, hey, this service area is being considered for removal. This was our response to that unexpected notice. We do note, and I believe there was an appropriate comment just a brief short moment ago, that that northern portion, including within the hatched area all the way up to the northern boundary, that is zoned residential, RA. That southern portion, highlighted in blue, that is heavy industrial. That same portion of the parcel, to include the entirety, as we've just discussed, is designated as being within a future growth area per the current comprehensive plan. And more specifically, it's just identified that entire parcel, both the current RA parcel and the parcel designated HI, is designated for mixed use in the current comprehensive plan. As I believe the board knows or is able to recall, The current comprehensive plan provides that it is the goal of the plan that all development within future growth areas of which this parcel falls within is to be connected to public water and sewer. That is a goal within the current comprehensive plan. The entirety of the hatched portion of the parcel is included in the current urban services boundary, as well as shown in the current comprehensive plan, and the entirety of the parcel falls within the county's water and wastewater master plan. For these reasons, and acknowledging your collective comments over the last 2 days, we submit that the board vote not to remove the existing service area from the parcel at this time, to allow us the appropriate time to evaluate our position as well as its consistency with the current comprehensive plan and being beneficial to all parties. And with regards to the matter of expanding the service area to the entirety of the parcel, we would ask the board to table or defer a decision on that to the appropriate time when we can bring a more complete understanding of our position to the boards for its consideration. I thank you for your time. If the board will allow it, Mr. Hurt and Mr. Willis desire to speak briefly to the board.
Thank you.
Mr. Hurt or Mr. Willis?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Warder Willis. My wife Janice and I are not residents of Culpeper. We do have strong ties to the community, having grown up here, lived here for many years. We now live in Madison County. We are co-owners of the property under discussion. We'd like to express our opposition to removing any part from the water and sewer service area. We believe removal will have a negative effect on its value and would not be consistent with the goals of the county comprehensive plan, which shows the property as a future growth area. Therefore, we respectfully ask that you reject the proposal to remove parcel 41-126 from the water sewer service area. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come and speak? Sir, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Justin Schenk. I live in the Stevensburg district. I have my piece of property is right there off the lower section of Inlet Road, a couple lots up from the bottom there. I'm opposed to this change of removing it from the water service area. I have a couple points. There's a certain value, obviously, to being in the water service area, and I think that I have the right to keep that. Second, when I built my house 6 years ago on a 7-acre lot, I was only able to find one conventional perk site because that low-lying land is it's very shallow. There's not much topsoil on top of the shale. So there's a real, if the sewer ever does go out to 29, which I feel eventually it's going to, there's a real chance that me and my neighbors may need the sewer. And then third, just kind of looking at it from a construction standpoint, that red line kind of, especially as it ties into inlet, follows a bottom land. And it makes, in my mind, the most sense to run the sewer through the bottom so you can service everything up grade and just have a pump station at the bottom. So I think as sewer grows to 29, it makes sense to put it in that area. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to come and speak? Come on up.
Hi, Laura Rogers, Stevensburg District. The existing urban services boundaries were developed years ago, which extend into properties that are split zoned and do not necessarily follow property lines. For instance, the heavy industrial or HI zoned parcels directly on Brandy Road has rural agricultural or RA zoning on the remaining back portion of those parcels. The urban service boundary only covers a portion of those RA zone parcels behind the heavy industrial. Therefore, these RA parcels within the urban service boundary would either require a rezoning to either 1, heavy industrial, or 2, residential, in order for this, to use this overlay accordingly. So number 1, rezone to heavy industrial. 20 years ago, there was a rezoning on Brandy Road property extending a heavy industrial zoning into the RA portion of that split zone parcel. While that rezoning was approved in the end by the board with all of its applicable proffers, the Planning Commission noted support of that rezoning, but was not in support of increasing the depth of that industrial zoning along 1529 Quarter, the Brandy Road inlet area. Or number 2, would you rezone the designated areas to residential? If you would rezone this RA land within the urban service boundary to residential, it would not be compatible with the heavy industrial parcels located directly adjacent to it. The comprehensive plan's land use section defines the heavy industrial district as an area where the principal use of land is for heavy commercial and industrial operations, which may create some nuisance and which are not properly associated with nor compatible with residential, institutional, and neighborhood commercial service establishments. Some examples of heavy industrial businesses are the manufacturing of chemicals, including plastics, fertilizer, mulch, and other industrial materials, manufacturing vehicle components, municipal waste, the manufacturing of pulp and paper products, and recycling, just to name a few. These industries in heavy industrial zones would be a major land use conflict if RA parcels would be rezoned to a mixed-use, high-density residential subdivision, and I cannot think of anywhere else in Culpeper County where we have heavy industrial businesses beside a housing development. So in closing, since the county's future land use plan has continually shown the Bradford Road parcels and the parcels behind Brandy Road to be preserved as ag and rural, this overlay is not necessary to maintain that land use. The best land use practices call for this urban service boundary to be removed from its rural area. It's a common sense approach to good planning. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to come and speak? Anyone else? Okay, we will close the public hearing. And are there further questions or discussions from the board? Ms. Colgino.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the proposed additions to the town water and sewer area for the tax map parcels along 29 south of town and table the proposed revisions in the inlet area.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Mr. Deal.
Just for clarity, so you're saying you're making a motion to take out the hash mark area up there? Or the
No.
other way? Can you state that one more time, please?
So my motion is to accept the proposed additions on 29 south of town and table what's on this map. So leave it be.
Mr. Chairman, I misunderstood the motion. I thought we were going to keep the hash marks as presented in the water service area.
Yes, we aren't removing them.
We are not.
That is my
But if we're
motion.
going to, and if we're going to increase 41-126, that would be tabled, and that's not even on, I mean, that's not up for discussion right now, is it? I mean, okay, yeah, but
Yes, I'm
if we're keeping
accepting
the hash marks the
their,
way they are,
Yes.
I will support that motion. I second that motion.
You are tabling, and your tabling will be brought back up at what point? And what further disposition are you looking for with that tabling motion?
the tabling motion would be if they are bringing back the request for expansion with their rezoning.
So we would leave this as it is
Yeah.
until a further rezoning came
Yes.
up.
I second that.
The tabling will be indefinitely.
Then rejecting the proposed changes in the inlet area. that work?
Is that an amendment to your
Yes.
motion?
So accepting
Ms.
the
Ellis, do you have
additions
that?
and rejecting the deletions.
Mr. Bates, are you seconding that motion? Yes. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. Did you, Ms. Ellis? Thank you. Okay, hang on here just a minute. Our next item of business is Planning Commission business. Case number U2254-25-1, request by Lindsay Ward for a conditional use permit to allow the construction and operation of a kennel and boarding facility. Mr. Drummiller, would you like to read us in on this?
Yes, sir, Mr. Doerr. Dear Chairman Doerr, the Board of Supervisors will consider a request by Lindsay Ward for a conditional use permit to allow the construction and operation of a kennel and boarding facility per Appendix A, Article 3, Section 3-2-2.11, kennels and boarding facilities, and in general accordance with Article 17, conditional use permits. The subject property is currently zoned A1 agricultural and is located off Yellow Bottom Road, Route 620 in the Stevensburg Magisterial District. It's found on Tax Map 68, Parcel 43A. This case was considered by the Planning Commission after proper advertising and public hearing held on Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. The Planning Commission found the request to be in conformance with Article 17 of the zoning ordinance. Upon motion that was duly carried, the Planning Commission recommends to the Board of Supervisors by 8-0 vote that the proposed use permit be approved with the following conditions. And if you'll bear with me, there are 7. Number 1, the site shall be developed in general accordance with the tendered concept plan dated February 19th, 2025. Number 2, a vegetative buffer shall be reserved and maintained or adequate screening in accordance with Appendix A, Article 33, landscaping shall be required between the proposed kennel area and Yellow Bottom Road prior to commencement of kennel operation. Number 3, all VDOT standards shall be met and a VDOT land use permit shall be required prior to the issuance of a zoning permit for the kennel operation. Number 4, there will be no commercial breeding of animals in association with the kennel use. Number 5, there shall be no commencement of operation until after the proposed single-family owner's residence receives an occupancy permit. Furthermore, the conditional use permit shall remain valid only if the given owner of the property is also the kennel operator who shall reside on the same parcel as the subject kennel. Number 6, all dogs shall be kept indoors after sunset. Number 7, an additional vegetative screening buffer and noise abatement fencing shall be installed and maintained surrounding the dogs' exercise and training yard as shown on the concept plan dated February 19th, 2025. Sincerely, Sanford Reeves, Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Drummiller. Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman, really quickly, if you'd like.
Mr. Cooley?
Just a little bit of a presentation here, sir. Up on the screen, the highlighted red parcel here is the subject property. To the east and to the south of the property, it's zoned A1, agricultural. The property is bounded on the west side by Route 620 Yellow Bottom Road. Yellow Bottom Road is then bounded by commercial services zoning and rural agricultural zoning up here. Further to the east is Route 3, and a small portion of Village Center zoning is also across Route 3. Here's an aerial photo of the property. We've included this to show the access road, the logging access road that was discussed in Mr. Drummiller's proposal. I also wanted to call to your attention the tree buffer that was left during the last logging of the property. This buffer is still in effect, and you'll see why I'm bringing that up in just a second here. Here is the site plan for that the applicant has submitted. I wanted you to see this before we took it to the next
screen. What we've had the GIS office downstairs do is they've overlaid the applicant's site plan on an aerial photo. Just wanted to call out a few things to you. Here is the location of the kennel per the site plan. Off in this direction, the distance is the 370 feet that they talk about. Between the kennel and the closest house, we've measured to be 710 feet. But one of the big things I wanted to call out was that between the kennel and all of the houses and businesses along, that back up on Yellow Bottom Road, there is the existing tree buffer. It does remain in place, and that tree buffer, when I took a drive out there on Saturday, is about 100 feet tall. My estimation, it's about 100 feet tall. There are some big trees in that area, and I just wanted to call out that there is additional buffer out there already on the property. The applicant's house right now is proposed to be in this location. I understand that obviously that will take some site work once they get out there to better site it on the property, but this is their concept plan moving forward. And that's what I have. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, and I will let you know that the applicant is in the audience tonight.
Thank you. Questions for staff? Would the applicant like to come forward and speak?
Speaking is hard, so bear with me here. I do have a little bit of background about me and my husband Steve proposing here. We currently own and operate a dog training program in North Carolina. We've been doing that for 11 years at this point. So we have not only the dog experience, but also the business experience as well, running a business, managing employees, hiring, that type of aspect. Prior to that, I was an animal control officer for the county that we currently live in. I also currently do sit on the board for aggressive dog appeals in that county as well. Going back prior to that, I completed the Fairfax County Police Academy to become an animal control officer for Fairfax County. So I have the knowledge of the animal laws for Virginia as well. I do have that experience as well. Going back from there, I started at Fairfax County Animal Shelter, working the back of the house, so caring for the homeless animals in the county, feeding, cleaning, housing, vaccinating, all the things that come along with that as well. My husband and I moved to North Carolina a little over 11 years ago. Both of our families, siblings still reside in this area, and we are ready to get back to what we consider home is the reason to come back up here to this area. We are excited to be able to offer a luxury boarding facility here in Culpeper County, as well as be a part of the community, offering several jobs to the community as well. My idea for the facility is luxury suites, not the older school kennel chain links inside. I want no chain links inside. The dogs will have suites, which are similar to a room, connected to an outside area for them to run and play as well. I have a growing heart for senior dogs and dogs with disabilities, having two of our own with each in those categories. So I want to be able to cater to them as well. Boarding senior dogs is also more difficult as well. They require a little bit extra care, as we can all know. So I would like, again, a nice suite for the dogs, raised beds, heated floors, epoxy floors, additional measures for adequate airflow and fresh air return within the building. When we first started this endeavor, my priority was to be able to live on the site of the facility, not only for convenience, but for safety of the animals, being able to be close to them. That was, again, my big priority for that. Within purchasing the 47 acres, we both love the rural area. We did not want to be on our neighbors, right on top of our neighbors, especially with this kind of endeavor here. So to address everyone's number one concern is always the barking dogs. That is everybody's number one concern. We have been in this industry I've been working with dogs essentially my entire adult life. Barking dogs annoy me probably more than they annoy anybody else. Being in the training aspect for the 11 years, we do know how to address that, of course. I believe the 47 acres allows us to kind of insulate ourselves, again, so we're not right on top of our neighbors as well. Again, setting the building back from the property line helps. The vegetation, as Mr. Cooley said, that line there is full of trees. The rest of the property has been replanted and does have trees on it as well. They're probably 10, 12 feet tall as well. We do plan on keeping that vegetated buffer on that area as well. In our experience, dogs may mainly do their barking with inside the kennel. So inside is when the dogs are kind of able to do more of their barking. When they're outside, they're busy playing, they're busy exploring, they're busy going potty. We will always be outside with the dogs when they are outside, so we will have either ourselves or our staff able to immediately address any nuisance barking. So they will always be supervised when outside. Inside, we're going to take additional measures to soundproof ourselves as well. Special insulation within the interior walls, staggered studs. Going from there, we will, of course, require the normal vaccinations, rabies, of course, by law, and then we plan on taking the advice of the local veterinarians as well. Going to the conditions proposed, just going down them, of course, we'll develop in accordance with the concept plan. The vegetation buffer, again, we've already spoke to that about insulating ourselves that way. VDOT, of course, we will abide by that. The no breeding, coming from the shelter background and having to work with all the homeless animals in the area, I have no intent in adding to that population, so that is not a concern at all. The occupancy permit, I understand the need for that and the concept behind that. The no dogs after dark. This is a point for me because in the winter, it gets dark at 5 p.m. Dogs need to go potty, right? They need to go outside. We will, of course, limit their outside activity after dark, but I would love to see something of in accordance with the noise ordinance or something like that. So when they do have to go potty at 6, 7 o'clock, which I'm sure if you guys are dog owners, your dogs go outside to go potty after that as well. We have that availability. And then the additional noise abatement, again, being on the 47 acres and being 700 feet away from the closest house, I do believe that's sufficient as well. That's all I have. I would love to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you tell us your name for the record?
Sorry, it's Lindsay Ward.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Any questions? Comments?
So I
Ms.
did have
Gordino.
one question before we go into the public hearing. So your estimated number of dogs is 60, but your estimated number of kennels is 40.
Correct. That allows for a client that has multiple dogs. If the dogs are friendly, giving the boarding suite is big enough, we would allow more than one dog into an individual suite.
Okay.
So say you had 2 dogs, they could both go into the same suite.
Right. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a quick question. So, Ms. Ward, it's a luxury suite
Yes.
dog kennel.
Yes.
So each of the dogs will have their own luxury suite.
Correct.
So barking really should not be a problem if they're going to have that much comfort, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But now, is
Dogs
this
will be
kind of
dogs.
the coming trend of having luxury suites, or is this something really kind of unique that you and your husband are developing? I'm just kind of
I think
curious.
it's more unique to this area. Overall in the industry, this is the coming trend.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
dogs are babies, right?
All right, thank you.
I guess a brief
Mr.
question.
Underwood.
If the conditions were modified where it was sunset or 7:30, whichever is later, would that meet your needs?
Yes, yeah. I believe that would be sufficient. Again, my concern there is because I have the heart for the senior dogs, my concern would be a dog that needs to go potty every 3 or 4 or 5 hours, right? Being able to let that dog out to potty would be nice. I would appreciate that. Yeah, but again, the majority of the dogs would not be out that late. And if they would, it would be very small groups, if not one-on-one, one dog out to potty at a time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we will open the public hearing. Thank you very much. We will open the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to come forward and speak on this issue? Come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having me here this evening. Board, My name's William Jenkins. I'm a resident in the Stevensburg District, Yellow Bottom Road. I'm the house that's 710 feet from that proposed building site for the kennel. And my concern more than anything, I've lived at this residence since 1987. We've had property there since 77 in the family. I know there's a buffer there, and my concern more than anything is this barking issue. How am I assured that that's not going to be a problem for me? So you look at that buffer there, that 700 feet, and the building site of that kennel is up on a ridge. So yes, the trees maybe are 100 feet, but what happens when those older trees die off and you have gaps there that are open? You're going to have noise that's going to permeate through those trees. So my question is, and how far is it from the proposed house site to the kennel site? Is it more than 710 feet? So my recommendation would be move the proposed kennel site back down towards the house. That gives more buffer zone for me, because if you move the proposed building site towards the house site, it's going to be way more than 710 feet from my house. And there's going to be more trees between that building site and my house. I don't have any objections to having neighbors. I welcome them. But again, I just want to know that that's not going to be an issue for me. That's my question. So that's all I have to say this evening. Thank you for having me. And
Thank you.
yes.
Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Any other comments? All right, with that, we will close the public hearing and open this up for questions or discussion from the board. Ms. Gugino.
So in response to your neighbors, has there been any thought or investigation on pulling that further away from those residential areas on Yellow Bottom Road?
The way the topography is, that's the best option.
Please come on up.
So the way the topography is, it does slope down on both sides, and that proposed house site is going to actually have to be closer to the kennel as well because of the slope of the land right there. So that is the flattest area right there for a proposed site.
Okay, would you be, you're saying about the building being insulated, soundproofing and all of that. Around the kennel yard on the exterior fence, are you guys willing to put additional vegetative buffers for sound barriers and stuff to ensure that when these trees, the leaves are off in the fall, throughout the winter, the pine trees are still small?
Right.
And at some point, I'm assuming, is there a forestry management plan for those? Are you guys going to be required to log them at some point?
No, not at all. No,
Okay.
we wouldn't log those. No.
So you're not under the agreement in which they were planted?
Correct.
Okay. Because that's another one of my concerns, and like you said, once these enormous trees start dying off, they're aging, that I would be concerned that there will be some areas where more sound can get through, and those houses are pretty close to the road.
Right, yeah. We would be fine adding a vegetative buffer, especially on the side of Yellow Bottom, that side of the property. Yeah, I understand that.
Okay, and then as far as the nighttime stuff, I agree with you. When I read that, I was like, there's no way that you cannot let a dog go outside to use the bathroom
Right.
after 4:30, 5 o'clock.
We'd come into a big mess the next morning.
Yeah, so I understand that, and based on whatever discussion we have, can adjust that to an appropriate time period so that in the wintertime, you're not restricted down to only a few hours of daylight. My one question is if you can expand on the pet waste septic system?
Yeah. So it's essentially a big barrel is the only word that I can come up with, that you plant, you dig a hole and put it in the ground, and then you can add the waste to that, and it naturally over time decomposes and turns into compost, is what it's doing. The other industry standard that people do is to bag the waste and send it to the landfill. I don't see the need to put something that's going to decompose in a month in a plastic bag and preserve it for 1,000 years. So I like the decomposition method better.
And are there other places in Virginia that are using this composting method?
I don't know what individual kennels do. Again, I know it's the industry standard. They either trash it or compost it.
Okay, because I have read some things with DEQ's best management practices and stuff, and that some pet waste due to the diets and stuff is not necessarily a compostable material, and sometimes they recommend more often than not to go ahead and use an appropriate waste management company to have that waste taken away. So I wasn't sure if you guys have discussed with DEQ or anything about whether or not that septic, or the Department of Health, whether or not that septic would be adequate for the capacity of dogs you guys are looking at.
Right. What is this? I'm sorry.
My name is Lee Baines, Hinchy and Baines. I'm a consulting engineer. The document I handed Lindsay is actually a guidance document from EPA.
Okay.
And the guidance document is composting dog waste.
Okay.
This is a guideline. EPA does not regulate the composting of dog waste or any kind of drain field, leach fields that have to do with kennel waste. And also, the Virginia Department of Health does not regulate that either. There are no regulations for
Okay.
it. So this composting is generally the use or generally the method of disposal for pet waste, whether that's a kennel or possibly training facilities for dogs. There's some guidelines in here, and it's basically this is a document from 2005.
Okay.
So it's been around for a while. It's they specify burying. They don't even use a trash can or a barrel or whatever. It's they're using wire mesh is what they're specifying in here. And generally, it's just digging a hole and putting gravel in the bottom of it, and dropping this wire mesh basket in there. I've done other kennels where what they did was they had a 55-gallon barrel, or they used a plastic trash can, large trash can, and drilled holes in it, and that was set into the ground with maybe about 6 inches. The top of the trash can was above the ground, and that was filled with the pet waste. That's a fairly typical way of disposing of pet waste in the industry.
And then as far as the compost that is created by that, I mean, it's not all going to disintegrate and leach into the soils. What's the plan for that, and how often do you think it will be changed?
Well, I don't know how often. I guess that depends on, how
How many
much
dogs?
waste you put in there. But there's some some guidelines on how to, what you need to do to make it digest properly, and what it will turn into. It can be, if done properly, it can be used for fertilizer in some cases. The other option is it can be cleaned out and taken to the landfill. That's actually one of the guidelines for the EPA is they say either flush it or take it to the landfill. That's really the main guideline. Since we don't have sewer here, we don't put this into a conventional drain field with the domestic wastewater from the building.
Okay.
So the other option is to bag it. If you're not going to compost it on site, it's to bag it and take it to the landfill.
Okay.
Other
Thank
questions? Okay, thank you. Is there a motion?
So I agree that this is a relatively remote area, 46-acre lot. There are houses that are quite close, and I would like to protect their investment in their properties as well, because if somebody decides to sell their house and they hear a bunch of barking dogs next door, it makes it difficult. I know I'm 1,500 and 2,000 feet from 2 kennels, and they're only housing 5 to 12 dogs based on whether or not they have puppies, and I can hear them quite often. So I understand how noise travels in our area, and it travels further than you think. So based on the conditions that were put into the resolution, I'm very adamant about the fact of the occupancy permit and that it's owner-operated and that continues and that you guys will live there before the operation starts. So that condition is, I would have put it first instead of fifth. But I know that there's a lot of need for the boarding and the training and stuff, and we've had a couple others come and not have as adequate a place, and I know that we need to be good neighbors, so I would like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the conditional use permit with the following modifications. That not only will the vegetative buffer that's there be reserved and maintained, but also additional sound barrier vegetative buffer be around the training yard of the facility. And then the one, number 6, about all dogs shall be kept indoors after sunset. I believe sunset or is 8 o'clock fair? Or 8 p.m., whichever is later. And so, yeah, all the other conditions will remain.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you. We have no further business to discuss. Is there a motion for adjournment? We are adjourned.